house fire, and the entrance is on fire, so they threw him.
Okay, we ready to get started?
Yeah.
Do it. Good morning, everyone. How's everybody this morning?
Great.
Yeah. I love it. I love it, especially getting out to the warm weather later.
What?
Houses. That's gonna be fun for sure. So before we get started into what we're gonna do here on the second day and getting into interviewing our customers, so you can get a better grasp on who you're dealing with and how to get them to move forward. I want to recap yesterday, right? We're gonna phone calls and all that good stuff, right? Just some thoughts right now. Anything that maybe you kind of light bulb went off, something that you feel, man, even if it's one little thing, it's this thing. If I could change this, it's gonna make a huge difference, or a difference. What's that? What's that one thing?
Being more dominant on the phone.
Being more dominant on the phone. Okay.
Yeah.
Getting control of the
Yeah.
call. I like it. Anybody else? Because you're here to learn something that's going to push you forward, right? So if there's nothing that you take from this, there's nothing that you leave here saying, hey, I need to tweak this, right? It may take me some time, but I need to tweak this. I know that I'm lacking right here, right? Like I've even learned from you guys on some stuff that I was lacking. So what's that one thing? What were we gonna say?
Changing our frame of mind as a consultant versus personal. This is where I live. This is who I have to live with every day. To this is where I live, but it's also my business that I have created to make sure all these people are safe.
That's huge right there. That creating that separation between manager and resident, right? Or manager and neighbor. Okay. So that's big for sure.
Wording,
What's that?
wording,
Wording.
yes.
Yes. I'm glad. Yeah, how we phrase things, right? How we say things on the phone or in person to a customer. Certain words will trigger. And think about it. It happens with us, right? You hear a certain word and it makes you cringe. It makes you feel weird or just you don't like it. So we want to stay away from wording things in a negative fashion. We provide solutions. You may not have a solution for everyone, but you don't know that until you know that, right? So what I mean by that is there's always different homes. We don't know the true qualifications of a customer just because they say something on the phone. Here's the problem. Okay, that I've learned, and I didn't share this. When we do this for a while, whether it's a community manager or a salesperson, when you've been doing it for a while, you start to get in this mode of you're trying to disqualify rather than qualify. Why should I not sit with this person? Why should I not talk to this person? Why should this person not come and see the home? Why should this person not get into my community? And as opposed to being the problem solver, who is, how can I make it work? How can I get this person in? How can I, as long as they meet the criteria, right? But sometimes we're so intent on, we've been beat up so much, right? So many customers that don't do this, didn't buy, didn't show up, can't qualify, they're bad residents. We have all of these things that just stack up, and that's why we went into the whole exercise yesterday of what can you control? Because if you try and fix the things you have no control over, you're going to get frustrated, you're going to get burnt out, you're going to get in that mode, that way of thinking where everybody's a problem. All right? Can we agree? And that's not good. Can you imagine? All right. Take yourself out of the situation, right? Just look at this as a career. Look at this as your job. And can you imagine if your managers were simply looking at you all the time, how you don't do anything right, on how how can I get rid of this person? In essence, that's what we're doing when we become that. And when you go from community manager to where you got to put your salesperson hat on. As a salesperson, we sell hope. We sell hope. If there's nothing that I leave you with, it's that. The management part of it, I understand. You got to go around it. They can't have this. They can't do this. You're no. Fix this. Right? I get that. But every opportunity you get with somebody looking for a home, looking to come look at your community with that, you're selling hope. You got to be able to shed that skin and put that smile on, right? Smile. Answer that phone and try to help. We can't help everyone. And that's where understanding what we can and can't control is important. But that's also why I told you, you give 110, you give all your effort, up front until you figure out it's not going to. And once it's not going to work, you don't think about it anymore. You move on to the next thing you got to get done. Because if I keep thinking about this person didn't qualify, that guy had a record, this person brought a pit bull. If I keep worrying about those things, and yeah, I think the world beats you up already as it is. That's why I don't even watch the news, man.
I mean,
It's the same thing here. Those customers that can't, and I already told you, 80% of them at least are not going to qualify. They're not going to be able to qualify, whether it's to live in your community or for the loan. Sometimes both, right? And you got to be okay with it. And if we're not, you know, and I don't say this with any sort of disrespect, if we're not okay with that, we got to start thinking, am I in the right place? Because at the end of the day, it's a business. And at the end of the day, with all due respect, ladies and gentlemen, it's not your business. Right? So we got to make sure that we're doing right by Suncrest, who is putting up all the capital, who's putting up they're putting themselves in a situation where they could stand to lose a lot, right? And I'm not saying that because he's sitting right here. I'd be telling you the same thing if you're working for me and I was still a GM at Titan. Okay? We're here for them. Everything we do, we got to make sure we're looking out for the company. And then it's us. The families, the clients. Right? So we've got to rearrange, we got to reshift our perspective. And that's what this class is about. To empower you to be able to do those things. And that's why we also showed you the little things you can do so that you can be a little more salesy. Have a little more fun with what you do. Because believe it or not, sales is fun. It is. It's a challenge. It's a challenge, but it's one that at the end of the day, if you win that challenge, that family wins, you win. That's the great thing about it. Right? Family wins, you win. And it's a win that they live in each and every day. That's the impact that you're having. So we talked about yesterday living a purposeful life, right? And living and feeling that fulfillment in what you do and who you are and what you're getting accomplished. That's the one thing, if you haven't really stopped to think about it. Because again, most of you are living in the communities, right? No? Okay. Some of you are. Yeah. So like we mentioned yesterday, you kind of get blind to what's going on. You impact the people's lives. It's not, you can't look at this as a transaction. The moment it becomes transactional for you, that's where you start getting burnt out. That's where you start getting short with people. That's where everybody is a problem. Everybody's a problem resident, everybody's a problem customer, right? But we are problem solvers. That's what you do. So today we're going to get into, we got past how to post the ads, how to respond to the ads, right? Quick, short, also on the phone calls, because when we're on the phone calls, we're trying to sell what? The appointment and ourselves. Okay, that's good. We're selling the appointment. And we sell the appointment how? What are we trying to get them to feel? Excited. Excited about what? The possibility of buying a home, because that home does what? It fits what they're looking for, right?
Yeah.
But the only way we know it fits what they're looking for is by what? By asking what they're looking for. Right. By asking why they're trying to buy a home. And being okay with asking these questions is so important. There is nothing. Do you need to know where the money's coming from for the down payment? If they're financing through a bank, do you need to know where the money's coming from? You don't.
Yes,
The source of down payment? Yes, sir. If you're financing through 21st Mortgage, Triad, they want to know where that money was. Right? So the fact that you ask them, is that money in your savings, your checking, in a 401k, where's it at? That's okay that you ask them that.
Where can we borrowing it? That's all on the paperwork.
If it's stashed underneath my bed, I just need you to sign this one paper that says you had that money saved at home. Right? The cash on hand letter. Okay? How long how much have you made the last 2 years? Do you need to ask them that? Do you need to know that if you're financing? Yes. So in other words, you're not asking anything that is personal. Not about swimming in the lagoon or whatever with in your underwear. Whatever was going on in the conversation. We're not asking those things, right? We're asking what's pertinent to them being able to live in our home. Felonies. Are you going to allow somebody in with a felony? I don't know what felonies are that are allowed or are not allowed. Obviously.
It depends.
Yes.
Because there's been news.
But you need to ask.
Yeah.
And you're going to do a background check. If there's anything private in anyone's life, it would be that. And guess what? You need to know that. So why would we be too worried to ask them what changed their mind as far as wanting to get a home for their kids? You said that's why you were trying. Yesterday when I brought that up, a couple were like, I'll ask you if you've been to jail, sir, and had some issues where you can't be next to school, but I'm not going to ask you what you don't want. It makes no sense. Makes no sense, right? Can we agree? All right. So anything else, any other questions with we went over yesterday? You're going to have to keep working at man, please. I'm telling you, because I know it's probably going to happen to most folks, and I hope this is the case. You're going to go back and you're going to do things the way you were doing. Hope not. And we've got some things in place for that, some things that you're going to be able to tap into in case you got questions. Right? If you ever reach out to us, answer your questions, we'll work with you. You need a role play on some stuff. You need, hey, how did that go? We can do that stuff. Okay. Before we leave for today, I'll get you access to those things. Okay. Because we want to make sure that you are successful with what we're trying to accomplish. Results is all that matters to me in my company. Results. So I'd love to hear that, sales hockey sticked up after this class for your communities, and that things are moving in the direction they need to be moving in the communities, because that's what matters to me. Okay. So we're going to get into day 2, folks. So we're going to start on page 45 of this, so that we can start talking about the sales process, because there is a process that needs to be followed, because you are selling a home.